My name is Lawrence Villegas. I'm from Austin, Texas. My background is nutritional marketing. I studied nutrition at the University of Texas many, many years ago. Like when here, my passion is nutrition. I'm really into evidence-based. I need to see the evidence. I need to see the proof. Because there's a lot of stuff that people say out there, but I need proof, right? So tonight we're going to give you the proof, we're going to give you the story. But it's about a breakthrough product that can help us all be better. Because see, I think that's what everybody in this room has in common. We all want to be better. We all want to be the best we can be. Physically, mentally, as a person in our society making a contribution. So that's, and we all care about people, I think. I mean, obviously you're here because you care about people. And you care about yourself and your family. So we appreciate that. You're going to hear about a technology that can impact your health and your life. So to explain that, last time we were on tour, we had Wolfgang Schoenfeld from Switzerland. And he was remarkable. Some of you all saw him. Well, tonight we have someone equally as educated, someone equally as brilliant, who has interviewed Dr. Wolfgang Schoenfeld. She's a medical doctor. She's got a doctorate as well, a PhD. And she's also a doctor of natural medicine. She was originally from Russia, award-winning doctor there. And then she moved to Canada, and now she's here in the States. She has had the opportunity to interview the people that created this technology, and she understands it well enough to explain it to us tonight. And so I'd like to introduce our first guest speaker, Dr. Irina.
What we have here today is what is called the disruptive technology. Technology that changes the game. And it's not everyday technologies like this come to our attention. Introduction of cell phones was a game changer, right? Introduction of a computer was a game changer. And if I'm not mistaken, the introduction of the Viz technology, or VIZPur technology rather, is the game changer in nutrition. And I'm going to explain you why. And you will agree with me in the end. So let's look at some interesting facts. We are all in America. So let's look at the American facts. Approximately $27 billion are spent annually by Americans on supplements and vitamins. Guys, and it's 300 million in America only. So just do a simple math and see how much every household spends on vitamins and supplements. You probably have that in your cupboard, and you probably have not only one. And why is that? Why do you have so many? Because you try, because you heard that it works, so you buy another one. Then your doctor told you something, right? And you buy another one. Then your neighbor told you something, and you buy another one. And they all pile up. But do you know if they really work? How do you know? You can't really feel supplements and vitamins, and that is not right. Because if a vitamin or a supplement is working, you have to feel it, and you have to feel it fairly soon. You have to notice the difference in your body, in your mood, in your emotions, in your working capacity, in your physical being. You have to see the difference. But most of us don't see that difference. And because we don't see that difference, we buy another one. Because we hope maybe that one is going to work. And we end up with the piles of bottles in our cupboards, which cost a lot of money. So that's the problem. We buy more and more of them, and Americans these days buy more supplements than ever. That's the second figure over there. That 20 years ago, only 30% of women over 60 were buying or using vitamin D, which is a very, very vital supplement. And it's 56% now. So we need and we use vitamin D more than ever before. And yet, we are more deficient than ever before. And the modest figure is 40% of American population is vitamin D deficient. Not so modest figure, which you can catch once in a while if you Google it, it's 77%. 77%. How many of you right now are vitamin D deficient? Oh, exactly. It's more than 2/3 of us. Why is that? Well, there are many reasons, of course. Well, a lot of people, including me, blame sunscreens because sunscreens would not allow your body to produce vitamin D. And there are also, of course, all sorts of other reasons. We don't expose ourselves to sunlight, which is a natural way how our body produces vitamin D. Lacking vitamin D makes our body very weak. Our bones very weak, our immune system weak, our blood weak. Basically, we are weak without vitamin D. And this is just vitamin D. That statistics is pretty much applicable to any other vitamin and supplement. Especially what we call the fat-soluble vitamins and supplements. Fat-soluble means that they cannot be delivered in water. They can only be dissolved in oil. Vitamin D, vitamin E, super nutrition, coenzyme Q10, they're all solubles. And some others. But that means that they only can be delivered to the body if they are in the capsules with oil. Unfortunately, our body is not designed well to absorb oil. And because of that, only 10% or maybe 20%, but not more, of what you are taking will be actually absorbed by the body. That means low bioavailability. This is a scientific term, low bioavailability, which means that the fat-soluble nutrients are usually not easily absorbed by the body. So if you need, for example, 2,000 units of vitamin D, which you do every day, if you take a pill of 2,000 units, you will only absorb 200 or maybe 400, but not more, which leaves you vitamin D deficient, and you think you are not. Well, you think, well, I'm taking it, but actually, you will be deficient. 76% of pregnant women in the United States are vitamin D deficient. What does it do to your children? Okay, so what can we do about it now that we understand the problem? There is a way that is presented to you today by the company called VIZ, which originated in Switzerland, as you all know by now, which discovered a breakthrough technology that allows to make fat-soluble nutrients water-soluble. Body easily and eagerly absorb anything that is dissolved in the water, because we are 60+% water. We came from water. Water is our information carrier and our main component of our bodies. So anything that is dissolved or can be dissolved in water will be easily absorbed by the body, and in a high percentage, with a high bioavailability. So VIZPur technology was created to make fat-soluble nutrients water-soluble, so they can have high bioavailability. So that's what we have in this. Now, how does that do it? What's the nature of VIZPur technology? So let's start from a little lesson in biology. You remember the digestive tract, right, from school biology. We have our digestion that starts in our mouth, continues in our stomach, and then continues in our intestines. And our intestinal tract is a huge surface. It's a surface about 27,000 square feet of cells that are covered with a thin layer of water. And this thin layer of water allows water-soluble nutrients come to the cells and being absorbed by the cells, that it will go into intestinal wall. And that's how we absorb all the nutrients that we eat. Well, usually there is a saying, we are what we eat. That's actually not quite accurate. We can eat whatever we want, but if it's not absorbed by the body, it does not have any value. So the more correct expression would be, we are what we assimilate, or we are what we absorb. And that's where we need to look a little bit into biochemistry. How do we absorb? What is happening when fat goes into the body? What are the mechanisms how our body normally utilizes fat? The body created a mechanism around fat being not easily absorbed, and the mechanism called micellation. This is a process how the body takes the fat and makes it bioavailable. So, in order to do that, our body created bile. And our liver produces bile. We all know that. Bile flows and collects in the gallbladder. And when we eat and consume fats, gallbladder releases bile salts. Bile salts deal with the fat. Well, now how they deal with the fat? And here science stops. Because I want to give you an analogy that I tried yesterday, last night, another group in Austin, and it kind of was fun. So I'm going to give you a little funny analogy so you understand how the micellation process goes. But please don't take me literally. So there is a liver that produces bile salts. Well, for us to understand bile salts, what is bile salt? Well, it is a molecules which are water-loving on one end and fat-loving on the other end. So fat-loving are also afraid of water, so they're hydrophobic. And the water-loving, they're hydrophilic. I make an analogy. Imagine that it's not a bile salt molecule, it's an ant. Like ants. Little creepy crawly things. So liver produces lots of these ants. They collect, they hang around in the gallbladder all together until the moment when we eat fat. Now these ants are very, very special. I call them lipophiliacs, which means they love fat. Lipos means fat, right? Liposuction, that's what it came from. And philos means loving. So they're lipophiliacs. So when we get fat, and these big pieces of fat that goes into our intestines right here, these ants all wake up and say, "Oh, guys, there's fat coming. Let's go deal with it." So they all together run into the intestines. Gallbladder contracts and helps the release of these ants. So they all go and break these big pieces of fat into small little pieces. But they don't just break the small little pieces. They kind of surround those pieces of fat all around. They put their little jaws and the little paws in the fat with their fat-loving end. But the other end, the back end, is water-loving. So because of that, we have what they call the micelle. Micelle has the piece of fat inside, fat-loving paws in the middle, and the water-loving ends on the outside. Now, because the micelle now is water-loving, it's encaged, the whole piece of fat is encaged, it can go through the intestinal wall. Because it's all water-loving, it can be easily transported through the thin layer of water that covers the intestinal surface and be absorbed by the cell. Does it make any sense, guys?
Yes.
Yes. So these structures are called micelles. And that's how you spell it, micelle. Right there. The problem starts, this mechanism is with us from the day we are born and start consume mother's milk, which is very rich in fat. And as we grow older, this mechanism is not that working that good anymore because our livers are usually polluted, we get lots of toxins, some of us lose gallbladders, so yeah, production of bile is not happening that easily. So micellation process is not happening easily either. And because of that, we now have the situation that a lot of fats are not bioavailable. Question? Oh, okay. The problem starts when we do not have many of those micelles. Because these ants, these micelles, they are party animals. They love to hang around together. So micelles, when there are lots of them around, they're happy, they're having a party, they're easily absorbable, they're doing their job, they're very happy. But as soon as the concentration goes down, they kind of lose the fun. Well, you know, it's not that much fun anymore, and if it's only one or two micelles, they get bored, they get sad, and they die. So when concentration of the micelles goes below certain level, which is called critical micelle concentration, CMC, micelles die. And because they die, that piece of fat that was in it now will be bouncing off the walls. It will not be absorbable. The surface of the intestines is 27,000 square feet, so micelles disseminate all over that surface, and they feel lonely and they die. That's a natural process. How can we change that? And that's what VIZ does. VIZPur technology makes these micelles stable. So, even if we have only one or two, it still will survive. It still will travel along the intestinal tract, and at some point it will be absorbed. So when you're taking a VIZ product, what you're actually taking, guys, it's the micelles where the pieces of the substance that is in it, like for example you are taking the Energy Plus, will be coenzyme Q10 molecules surrounded by other molecules, creating stable micelles. So they can travel along the intestinal tract and sooner or later be absorbed. Even if it's just lonely molecules here and there, or micelles rather, they will be still absorbed. Well, does that make sense to you? So do we understand now what actually VIZPur does?
So we need more ants?
We need more ants. And we need to make those micelles stable and strong. So ants are not actually getting bored and they don't die, but they travel along, and we even sang a song last night. You can do it.
No way.
The song goes like this, and you know the song, All By Myself. Right? So that lonely molecule travels along the intestinal tract singing all by myself. All by myself. All by myself. But eventually it does the job.
So that's the new battle cry.
Yes.
We are what we micelle.
Micellate.
And
yes.
what's so
we
fun?
are what we micellate.
When you talk to a nutrition or a doctor about it, they have no clue.
They have no clue. So you guys actually know now more than many of your doctors know. Because not many, like I didn't learn that at school. We didn't learn micellation process. We didn't even know it existed. We knew, okay, we have a gallbladder, but what is a gallbladder for, really? We didn't know. And it's only later in life I realized that the gallbladder is there to actually create the concentration of micelles. So the release of massive amount of bile, so that micelles can hang together and can do their job. If it's just dripping, which is of bile, which happens when people have no gallbladders, the micellation, the micelles will die. So people after gallbladder removal have a lot of problems assimilating fats. And it may not be fat-soluble substances, may not be evident right away, but maybe 5-6 months, a year down the road, these people will be deficient in vitamin A, vitamin D, CoQ10, and many other fat-soluble substances. They will be, and the symptoms will show up, and the doctors will not know what to do, and they will prescribe you vitamins. But you can assimilate those vitamins. So you understand that anyone who is going through gallbladder removal has to have this technology. Okay guys, so you understand now what VIZ does, right?
Yeah.
So as you can imagine, that is applicable to any fat-soluble substance. It does not have to be only those substances that are already being introduced to you by these products. So it's not only vitamin A or vitamin D or CoQ10 or even frankincense. It's basically anything you can think of that is fat-soluble can be, the VIZPur technology can be applied to. And from what we know from Rick and Dr. Wolfgang, they have 24,000 different formulations and recipes for different conditions, and the challenge for the guys actually to not to let it all on the market right away, because the manufacturing process cannot handle this. In order for manufacturing process to go smoothly, you have to have simple formulations and delivering the main part of the human physiology. And that's exactly what VIZPur or array of these products does.